All right, Mike, it looks like you've given yourself quite an easy entrance into the day, starting in the first leg of the pick six in a highly competitive lineup. It's the Yellowwood Handicap, and you've got Gaynor Rupert's Chatouche.
Yeah, Andrew, ultra consistent filly, but saying that she's stepping up in class. This is a tough race. It's going to be by no means an easy task for her. There's that very useful filly of Jeff Woodruff's near Guns N' Roses, and I think she's going to be a tough nut to crack. I'll be more than pleased if this filly makes the frame and runs into the money.
Yes, Tambalang's first run back after the rest was a pleasing one. I've rated this filly. I took her to Cape Town last season and she flopped, but she's come back nicely. She is nominated for the Summer Cup, so she'll have to do something proper on Saturday, which I think she's capable of. She's in a good space, good draw, one of the few with a good draw, and she is fit enough. Kahula, she's in good form, although it has been on the poly. I think she's coming off bottom weight, or the bottom of the weights. I think she could have a place chance too.
Yeah, it looks like a very hard race, Andy. I think we've got three very competitive runners. I've got to say that I think Bipot's coming into proper form now. She loves a stand-side track. 1,800 metres should be right up her alley. Top weight, I'm not too worried about that. She's a strong girl, and she's proven herself in Grade 1 class. So I'm very comfortable with her. Her aside, we've got Aldanza, also coming into really, really good form now. I'm very happy with her work at home. I think she's highly competitive as well. I really do expect her to contest the finish anyway. And Guns N' Roses, well, she's done precious little wrong. I thought her last win was pretty emphatic, but obviously a much weaker company. So, we're under no illusions. This is a very, very strong race, and by far and away the hardest field she's encountered. Marco knows her well, so we'll just leave it to him. She'll probably come from off the pace and hopefully show us that finish that we know she has.
Yeah, we were very disappointed, but in saying that, they had a heavy downpour just before the race and she didn't seem to like it, and we were always going to be concerned with her running on the inside track as it was anyway. But we were disappointed. We put the blinkers on her at home. She can be a little lazy at home. We thought that just might make her a little sharper in the race. She's in a good space, she's got a nice draw, and I'm sure she'll be very competitive.
Well, listen, they've reserved a few bad draws for me on the day. More than 2/3 of the team is drawn on the parking lot. Purple Diamond should just need it. Even though he's got a lot in his favour, he's got the form, he's got the draw. He isn't quite where I'd want him in terms of fitness, but he has got class and he could be sneaking up to them late. Wonderwall, perfect preparation. I don't know what you do with a draw like that. It is a shocker. We're going to have to take our medicine and come from off them. There is a Cape race 2 weeks later, so we sort of can't be too bold. And Big Bear's come into a lovely draw, and he's got a lot in his favour. So, yeah, obviously Purple Diamond and Wonderwall have got the form and the rating, but they've got a few negatives against them. So, maybe Big Bear's got a lot more in his favour.
Yeah, and probably the strongest Ready Run Cup I've seen in a couple of years. There's some very decent horses in there. Our filly's not bad. I just think on the day she might be a little bit outclassed. She's not the soundest filly around, and we unfortunately missed our prep 3 weeks ago with her. We had to take her out. She needed a couple of days off, so we bring her in here hoping she runs fresh and hoping we can run in. I think they pay up to 10th place or something like that. So if we can burgle 50 or 60 grand, 8th or 9th place, I'll be happy.
At least you've got a draw. Some of the big horses have got shocking draws.
Yeah, listen, and we get to 2.5 kilos filly's allowance, and she's got a lot of gate speed. So, like I said, there's good horses in there, so I don't expect to win it, but we're definitely hoping for a stake check.
Yeah, Puget Sound, he had a nice comeback run. He turned for home 6 lengths off them, and he finished 6 lengths off them, giving most of the good horses, good 3-year-olds weight. So it was a good run. He's improved plenty from that. He's got a nice draw here, which is a massive, massive bonus. He's a very honest horse, and I'm sure he'll be right there. Yeah, she's a smart filly. We've only run her in sprints so far, but she is bred to stay the trip. She has a difficult draw to overcome, but she's got a touch of class about her. If she can just have a bit of luck in running, she'll definitely be in the money.
Then on to horse number 15, who's drawn one on a mission. Callan Murray gets the ride. Her form wasn't frank, but it doesn't matter really because it could have just been a below par performance from her stable companion.
Yeah, I wouldn't read too much into that form line because on the day that Best Kept Secret race was changed to Up the Straight, which definitely never suited her. But going back to On a Mission, she's always had ability. She's always shown us that there's something there. But we kind of went through a stage where we felt she wasn't giving us the best, so we put blinkers on her, and it really did the trick last time. She's thriving at home. She's doing well. You know, she's gutsy. She's very, very gutsy, and from draw one, she will really give her best.
I'm very happy with the way they're doing. Nice that Vacomte, you know, he won first time out over 1,000. Then last time out he ran also 1,000, ran a grade second coming from off them flying and doing his best work late. I do think that the 14 and the 12 will be a lot better than the 1,000. I think it's getting a bit sharp for him. So, you know, with a little bit of luck and running, he obviously jumps from a bit of a bad draw. We need a little bit of luck, and he's doing well at home. So I'm hoping that if he can run to the money, we'll be over the moon with him.
Yes, Andrew. Justin Vermaak came to me and asked me if he could take over the lease. I then asked Pippa, who had leased the filly to Sharon and myself, and Pippa was kind enough to say yes, she would allow Justin to take over the lease, and Justin took over the lease, thinking of Adam in the future. About the fillies, I think we've got a strong hand in this race. They're both not without chances. But Paul Peters having a phenomenal run at the moment, and I know he rates that filly of his highly, so utmost respect for his filly. But his filly is starting from a very deep draw, which is against his filly. My filly is in very good space at the moment. She ran well against the older horses last time, so I think she might be the filly that they all have to beat.
Once again, two very poor draws. Libersteed's fit. So at least she's one of the few that are really fit on the day, and you know, let's see how good she is. She looks up against it on ratings. I'm sure Anton will give her a perfect ride. Aurelia Cut has got the ability to win a race like this, but once again, shocking draw. She needed her last run quite badly and was had to come from last on the inside course. So her run on paper doesn't look too good, but it actually is better than the form suggests. She is good enough. But as I said, from that shocking draw, we're up against it.
Yeah, indeed, she's a very classy, scopy-looking filly, and these races are all too short for her, unfortunately. But it's the only feature races for their age group at this time of the year. She's only going to be better when she goes a mile 18 and 2,000. So it's a tough ask for her to win a feature race over 14. But she's got class, and Turfentine Standside tracks is probably ideal for her.
Unfortunately, we haven't cracked the best of draws on the day, so she also jumps from a bad draw. We need a little bit of luck in the running. Last time out, she ran a very, very nice race. She needed it a bit, and she moved up nicely and just never followed through with the run. She's come on nicely from that run, and I'm hoping with the necessary improvement, she'll be in with a shout.
What's your gut feel tell you about how competitive he will be this time?
Andrew, I have no reason to believe that this horse cannot win this race. His work has been phenomenal back home. I think people must draw a line through his last run. He's not without a chance. This horse has proven that he can win Group 1 races overseas. This is not the strongest charity mile that we've ever had. His problem was that he was hanging in work and grabbing hold of the bit on one side. And we tried a number of bits on him, and then I decided to get hold of Bomber. Got Wayne Dale, the dentist, to work on him, and we measured the horse's mouth and tried a number of different bits on his mouth, and eventually we've got this horse to work as straight as an arrow, and he's really working well at the moment. We had Grant van Niekerk work him this morning, and he was very impressed with the horse's work. So I have no reason to believe that this horse is without a chance, and I'm quietly confident about his chances on Saturday.
No, there's not a lot to add. Obviously, a lot of the horses are prepping, and it's nice to have Social Order getting a run, with coming in with bottom weight and a good draw. And obviously, French Navy's in a good space. You know, if he doesn't just need the run, he might give them a fright.
Can Bezanova win his second charity mile after an absence from the winners' enclosure for a year?
We certainly hope so. He's dropped in the weights. You know, he's still got something in him. He's happy in his work. It all depends how he feels on the day. You know, he's a 7-year-old horse now. He won it 3 years ago, and 2 years ago he ran 5th, and then last year he was eliminated, so he won the Victory Moon. So he does seem to come right this time of year. You know, you never know what you're going to get in a way, because he saves himself at home, so he doesn't give you too much confidence, but his work's been good enough to give us a bit of hope. My best chance of a winner is in the last race. She's got a bit of a wide draw. She ran a nice race in what was probably not a strong field. She's got a nice each way chance, filly called Roman Ballerina.
A little bit unlucky in his last start. Marquand got caught up on the fence and he never finished his race. But I think, from that draw with the lightweight, we've got a ticket. And I think it's very strong, it's competitive. But I mean, if he's running on and on his day he could place, we'll be over the moon with the place.
Yeah, obviously New Predators, he's working really well at home. Like I said in the Citizen earlier this week, this race wasn't actually part of his prep, but we were a bit disappointed with him last time, and he needed that run a bit more than we thought. And Gavin said to me, we looked at the noms and it didn't look. I'm not saying by any means it's a weak field, but it's definitely not as strong as it's been for the last couple of years. And if he could win a race like that with 58 kilos last year, he's got to have a serious chance with 61 this year. We got a nice draw. We got Gavin, he knows him very well, so we do expect quite a big run from him. Irish Pride. Yeah, he's lost a bit of form, but his sprint up this morning was actually quite good. We worked hard on his blood count over the last 3 weeks. We never had him. We wanted him for his previous runs, so he's really come on a lot. And once again, if you look at the betting and what's in the race, some horses are taking form into that race that they should never be 10-1. They should be 40-1 in this race other years. So I definitely think Irish Pride can, on his work this morning, can definitely run in the money.
Having discussed Go Direct in depth for the Charity Mile, so on a scale of 1 to 10, what measure of optimism is there that Go Direct could run into the money and earn himself a place in the Summer Cup?
On his best performances, I could easily give him a 75% chance of hitting a place. To win it, very difficult, but he's a decent little horse, and I think he's proven himself at his most effective on the standside track, and I'm sort of holding that as in his favour because he winds up from the bend. I think he'll certainly be running at them with a low weight.
She's a type of filly that's enjoying her racing as she's getting older. She's filling out into herself. She's always been a light sort of a filly, and with that win, giving her a little bit of confidence. Hopefully, also coming from a bad draw, we can give her a bit of a chance, and she can run on strongly as if she did last time out. She ran a great race. She's very well back at home, and I'm happy with her well-being, and she's doing well.
All of Full Mast, who really is unbelievably consistent. Ideal Secret, who probably might just need the run according to the time that she's been off, and the same applies to the very flashy, handsome-looking Orpheus.
Well, Andrew, I've made no secret how I felt about Orpheus, and on a number of occasions, I think he was allowed to do too much too early. And I don't think that this horse is without a chance in this race. He's doing very, very well at home. He developed an ulcer in his eye, but he's over that at the moment. So with Pierre in the saddle and me feeling the way I do about him, I think he might be the horse that they all have to beat. But my other two horses are not without chances either. That was Full Mast is a useful sort. That was Ideal Secret. He tends to beat himself. He always gets away a bit slow and then gives himself a lot to do in races. But his last run behind Big Bear was slow away, and when Pierre pressed the button and straight, he quickened very, very quickly and then got up to them and didn't have much left at the end of the tank. But it's because he'd given so much start away. If he gets away on terms and he's within range, he might give a lot of cheek in the race.
Yeah, Keenan's Rock, he gave us a very good debut win. He went into the Group 1 after that and wasn't disgraced, running 5 lengths off them. We gave him a little break, and he needed his last run. Once again, it seems like a very average run, getting beaten 7 lengths in a comeback run, but I was quite pleased with the run. I think the winner's a good horse. He's definitely improved from that run, and I expect him to be thereabouts. Zero Dog 30 was gelded, and this run may be coming a bit too soon, but he is working well, and he's got a good draw, one of the few runners on the day. And then we go into the shocking draws again with Wondrous Climber, a horse that probably wants a bit further, but I think he's a very nice colt. I hope Anton can get him into a position where he can at least be running on strongly at the finish. Missouri was an eye-catching comeback run. When a horse quickens up like that, even though it is with a low weight, you have to be grateful and thankful that a horse can quicken like that. Silver God, a horse I've always rated. what to do from that draw, I've got no idea. But we've got quite a few runners here, and the reason for that is it's basically a trial for them. I know it's a little bit unfair to trial your horses on a big day, but I need to know which horses are going to go to Cape Town, which horses are for the Dingaans, etc. And this is a very important test for my young horses, not necessarily only going out there to win the race, but also to see where they do fit in.
Yeah, he had a nice comeback run. He was very heavy and needed that run badly. He's made a lot of improvement at home. Unfortunately, we got a terrible draw, so it's going to be very difficult for him. I would have liked to have just seen him come with a nice draw and have a soft lead into the race. But anyway, be it as it may, he's in good form and we're expecting a good run.
Then we go on to horse number 4, Sea King, who's drawn 11 in the Graham Beck. Once again, Gavin Arena.
Yeah, and he also very nice. Also, I got him from Green Street after the Durban season. He's only had the one run for me. He gave the whole field weight last time. Obviously, we didn't know much about him. It was just a learning curve for all of us, myself and Gavin. He actually gave quite a nice account of himself. He was running on strongly towards the end. I do think a 1400 is too short for him, but he'll definitely be better on a stand-side track. His main aim, obviously, being the Dingaans, and then after that, we'll goal him. And I think he's going to be a smart 3-year-old come the big races next season.
Yes, flying free, he's done nothing wrong of late. He's run 2 very short-haired seconds in his prep runs leading up to this race. He was very stiff last time out, and even the time before. But in saying that, very good horses have beaten him. Sean Terry's horse, he thinks quite highly of, and last time out, Alec Ledd's horse, not disgraced at all. So he's the type of horse that we need a little bit of luck and running coming from that draw, but he's doing very well. He's on the up and he's a nice colt. I'm very happy with the way he's doing. His preparation has been very, very good, so I'm hoping for another big run from him. Boria, last time he had a prep run in his first run in Johannesburg. He had the blinkers on and it was a 1300 metre vol straight, and he jumped out like a 1000 metre horse. He jumped out way too keen and over raced and just fell in the hole. He compounded the last 200 metres. So I'm hoping he can just reproduce his run on I think it was Gold Cup day when you in the mile, and coming from a bit off them. The 14 will be a little bit sharp for him, but we'll drop him out and hopefully he can do his best work late as well.
Right, now on to the 9th race. It's not unusual to see Michael Asley handsomely represented in these sprint races with all of Riverine, Splendid Garden and Ishfan, who was a little disappointing last time out, but the other two are both quality individuals, and Ishfan, if he puts his best foot forward, very talented horse.
Yeah, Andrew Ishfan, he's getting on now. He's one of those guys, if he comes to the racecourse and he's in the right frame of mind, he could very well win a race like this. River, it's his first run after being gelded. I think he might just need the run. He's carrying a massive weight. He's giving heaps of weight to the rest of the field. There are a lot of young, useful horses in this race. And then again, Splendid Garden always runs there or thereabouts. Could surprise, but I think the other younger horses in the race are the horses to watch in this race.
Lovely. Then I happened to have been at the Vaal the last time this horse ran. I thought he ran an absolute cracker. He is up against some pretty decent sprinters, but we're talking about the thinker.
Yeah, and he's just over the last couple of months, 2 months, he's really come exceptionally well. His work's improved at home. He's not a horse that works like a good horse at home, but his work is definitely better than it used to be, and the blinkers seem to have done the trick. So we've got him very, very well at the moment. Also, very good workout from him this morning, his last workout, and I definitely think with 54 kilograms, he's definitely a runner.
Fantastic. And then a horse that's really made so much improvement with the cheek pieces. I think it's horse number 11, drawn 9, Alphic, and Ryan Munger.
Yeah, he's really turned the corner. The cheek pieces and the gelding have done the trick, and he's in very good form at home. It's a tough field, but I'm very interested to see how he goes because he's in a good space.
Barak Street gets a chance to bump some of the hard-knocking sprinters that are in circulation, even though, having said that, it's not a vintage sprint field.
Barak Street is a good horse, make no mistake, he's a good horse. And his last run was disappointing. We found that he had a twisted testicle, and we elected to take that one testicle out. It certainly seems to have done the job at home. His work's very good, nice low weight. I'll make him a runner.